Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And good evening, and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Bridget Piorlo. A woman is dead and another is critically injured after both suffered gunshot wounds in early morning hours of today.
Yeah, police are saying it's a possible domestic violence-related shooting, and the suspect fled before police arrived. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson is on the scene in New Britain as police try to put together the pieces.
Gunshots ring out here on 57 Prospect Street in New Britain after a domestic violence dispute turned deadly, costing one woman her life and leaving the other fighting for hers in the hospital. A tragic start to the week for one New Britain neighborhood. A few hours into Monday morning, people heard gunshots coming from this home on Prospect Street. Two victims, whose identities have not yet been released, were found by first responders with gunshot wounds. One woman was pronounced dead on scene, and the other was transported to a nearby hospital. It comes as a shock to neighbors like Roberto Cage, who says this kind of violence is not normal where he lives.
Caught me off guard. I mean, this street was pretty quiet. I never heard anything like this at all. That's why, same thing last night. I didn't hear anything go down because of how quiet it is. All I seen was police out here.
Roberto, along with his mother, have been living in this house for 22 years. And even when they heard police outside, they never would have imagined a homicide.
I noticed the lights, just flashing everywhere. Parts right near my car. I'm thinking, what's going on here? Maybe some sort of temporary roadblock. They were here for about maybe an hour to hour and a half, and then they just left. I really didn't think much of it. Most of the time I see ambulance come over here because, of a sick person, nothing like that.
We spoke with the neighbor across the street from where it happened. She did not want to go on the camera, but says the people in the house have been having domestic issues for some time. She says she still would have never thought it would lead to someone losing their life. Even after hearing about the shooting, Roberto says it doesn't make him feel any less safe in the neighborhood.
It doesn't really change how I feel about me here. Noticed, not a lot of things go on. Nothing bad.
Now, New Britain police has not named the person they are looking for, and they say they are still at large. So if you or anyone you know has any information that could help their investigation, please reach out to New Britain Police at 860-826-3131. In New Britain, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
Jamel, thank you. The hunt is also on in Hartford. Police want to find the person who shot and killed a man last night.
Fox 61's Kayla Cade is in Hartford now with what police are telling us about this shooting so far.
Hartford police identified the victim as 20-year-old Johnny Rodriguez. They say it is clear this was a targeted attack. Investigators say this all started on Broad Street near the corner of Madison Street. That's near Zion Hill Cemetery, north of Trinity College. Just before 11 p.m., officers got calls about gunshots. When they went out to investigate, they found evidence of gunfire. While officers were there, they learned a man was found at the intersection of Essex Street and Retreat Avenue, not far from Hartford Hospital.
We believe at this point that somebody attempted to drive the victim to the hospital, and that's the reason why he was located in Essex. It's close proximity to the hospital.
Investigators say they looked at some videos showing a large group disturbance of several males fighting. One of them pulled out a firearm. There is still a lot we don't know, including what led up to the shooting and if police identified a suspect or suspects. We will continue to keep you updated as we learn more information. In Hartford, Kayla Cade, Fox 61.
All right, Kayla, we appreciate it. Turning now to the weather, a sunny and nice day to start the work week.
And Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is here with the first check of the forecast. Rach?
Yeah, temperatures today up around 40 degrees, so lots of melting out there still from our last winter storm, which wasn't, too bad. And we've got a little bit more snow to add to it. Tomorrow morning, there could be a light snow shower or some flurries. Really not much of an impact from this, but I did want to let you know that there could be a few flakes around for the morning commute tomorrow. But I think there's a better chance for more widespread, steadier snow tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. The timing of this is going to be after you fall asleep tomorrow night, where most people fall asleep. I don't want to tell you when to go to bed, but midnight to 6 a.m. So by the time the sun comes up on Wednesday morning, the snow's already over. However, there could be a coating to around an inch or so, and that could lead to a slower morning commute for some parts of the state. Can't rule out some school delays for some districts, just depending on how much you end up getting. Temperatures right now are in the 30s, still close to 40 degrees for the New Haven area, just 2 degrees shy. Winds are out of the southwest, gusting up around 20, 25 25 miles an hour. And as we head through the day tomorrow, I think we're going to keep the wind around. So it's still another breezy day, but the wind will be coming out of a different direction. Lows tonight right around 30 degrees, and heading through the day tomorrow, again, chance for a morning snow shower or some flurries. We'll see some clearing as we head through the afternoon, and then snow developing later tomorrow night after 11 o'clock, and for most closer to midnight. We'll take a closer look at those snow chances and the roller coaster ride ahead coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. A Derby woman is accused of assaulting a police officer. Police say Jessica Reyes was driving on Route 8 in Bridgeport Saturday night when she drove off the roadway. Police had Reyes perform a field sobriety test, and when she became unsteady on her feet, a responding officer caught Reyes fall into oncoming traffic. In response, state police say Reyes hit the officer in the chin. They also say she spit in an officer's face as she was being handcuffed. Reyes is now facing several charges tonight.
A 12-year-old has been arrested accused of making a threat toward a North Haven school. Police say they responded to Aces Mill Road School this morning after a parent reported a photo in a group chat showed a student with a firearm that was captioned, "Don't go to school." The 12-year-old was quickly identified as a suspect and taken into custody. Police determined the student did not have an actual firearm.
A Stanford substitute teacher is being accused of sending inappropriate messages to students. Police began investigating 64-year-old Richard Lavallo in September after receiving a complaint against him. He was taken into custody on Friday. Lavallo is now being held on a $150,000 bond.
And Connecticut's court system has some new faces. Governor Ned Lamont announced more than a dozen jurists to serve as judges. He also nominated Judge William Bright to the Connecticut Supreme Court. He's currently Chief Judge of the Appellate Court. Judge Robin Wilson has been tapped to fill that vacancy. Governor Lamont and Lieutenant Governor Bicewicz say they have faith in everyone selected, and the public should too.
When someone walks into the courtroom, we want them to see Connecticut in the courtroom.
I want people to be able to look at their government. I want them to be able to look at their courts and say, these are people that understand me.
13 people were nominated to the Superior Court in total. We'll have the complete list on fox61.com.
New here at 6, new legislation aims to protect workers on state contracts from wage theft. Comptroller Sean Scanlon announced the bill today in an effort to improve accountability among contractors, as well as protect workers who are on state-funded projects. Leaders want to make sure that state contractors aren't treating their workers unfairly or shortchanging them for money that they earn.
We want to make sure that when an employer signs on and says they're going to pay good wages, and provide good benefits, that they actually do that. So this is about catching cheaters, and I hope everybody can get behind that.
Under the bill, the comptroller would be notified by the Department of Labor when a state contractor is under investigation for wage law violations. And at the comptroller's discretion, state payments to the project could be halted until the investigation is completed.
New tonight, state lawmakers want Medicaid to cover the cost of diapers. Fox 61's Emma Wolfhorst spoke with advocates and those introducing the measure, and she has more from the state capitol.
Legislators tell me the need is growing. They call this proposal targeted policy intervention, saying the impacts could go far beyond just diapers.
When a family lacks access to diapers, it impacts their health and their well-being.
1 in 2 families struggle to afford diapers, up from 1 in 3 families pre-pandemic, according to the Diaper Bank of Connecticut. Across the country, 47% of families with young children struggle to afford diapers, an increase from 34% in 2010.
It is so important that irrespective of whether you are black, you're white, you're Latino, you're Asian, you're rich or poor, Republican or Democrat, that you have access.
Diapers are more expensive, and organizations like the Diaper Bank no longer have pandemic-era federal funds. That's why they want Medicaid expanded to cover diapers.
We know that diapers are an essential means to ensure diaper hygiene, and they prevent a range of avoidable medical conditions in infants and young children.
Children under a year old represent 40% of all UTI hospitalizations in the U.S. This bill would allow Medicaid to cover diaper purchases for children 3 years old and younger with medically necessary conditions like urinary tract infections and diaper dermatitis.
About half of the parents using childcare have missed almost up to 4 days of work per month because they didn't have an adequate supply. That equates to about a $6,000 amount of lost wages.
Currently, Tennessee, Minnesota, Vermont, and Delaware have similar policies. While there's no exact cost for implementation yet, Gilchrist says in a state budget year, this bill is good fiscal policy, too.
The offset are any number of health conditions the infant and toddler could experience, which would result in them being in the hospital, mental health needs of the mother, and then, as you also heard, not being able to go to work to either take care of your child who's experiencing those health conditions, or you can't send your child to childcare without diapers.
Representative Gilchrist tells me since this isn't a new concept, she's taken criticisms and ideas from past sessions and thinks this year the bill has broad support. Reporting at the state capitol, Emma Wolforst, Fox 61.